Need a better intro.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Wednesday night live stream. Today we have the one and only March from FragBox on. How you doing today, buddy?
Hey, doing well, doing well.
Excellent, excellent. Got the reefing hat. You're ready for it.
I just ran and got this. I just thought about it.
Oh, nice. I haven't seen those. They're new.
Yeah, they're new.
Snazzy. I feel like I
Reefing
have a
fins.
ReefDudes one on now. Next
You have
time.
one?
I do. Not on me, but yeah, I got it. I got like 10.
I can
It's
take it
great.
off if it makes you feel better.
Nah, it's okay. You can wear it. It's up to your call. Uh, so we figured today would be a fun one to kind of dig into nano tanks a bit. Now, what half inspired me is, a few months back in Orlando, we were hanging out, and you actually told me that you had your own line of nano tanks. I was like, we should do a nano stream. So yeah,
Ooh,
I know. So first question. I haven't been to your store in like 5 years, but I do remember you had some pretty cool nanos set up in the store. Are those also running?
hold on, I got a better question. Why haven't you been to the store in 5 years?
I know. Because I haven't visited Toronto other than like pit stopping for flights. So next time I come, I'll come visit. Okay, we'll work on it.
Nice. That was a good video.
It was. We got to get back
Sometimes,
on it though.
sometimes I go back and watch it just to see how much the store has changed.
Ah, So obviously it's changed a lot. So I guess that's a good thing. Like how much? What has changed in the last few years in your shop, in your store?
If I go back to your original question, like, are the nano tanks still there? No, I don't think. No, none of them are there. None of the displays are still here. Everything is since you came. Everything has changed.
Really?
The entire filtration, the layout of the aquariums has moved. The location and size of display, to everything. Nothing is the same except the walls and my face.
That's funny. Okay. So what inspired the changes? Is it bigger, better, changing it? Like why'd you change it? Like what have you done?
You know how you design your dream reef tank and you set it up and you think you've planned everything and all the equipment and like this is it. I can't get any better than this setup that I have.
Hmm.
And then once you're done, you go, oh shit, and you start thinking and you make a list of every single thing you would have done differently,
Yeah, that's fair.
like that, but on a commercial scale.
I like it. So
Yeah.
you're
So
just
that happened.
like you're like I can improve this. Where are we doing it? Uh,
Yeah, constant pursuit of perfection. So
yeah.
it never stops.
Okay, in the chat, ask March where he gets all his energy. He is amazing. You two make a good deal. Thanks, Macy's daddy.
I had a double espresso before coming on. Look at
Yep.
this nice. Look at the cup my nice staff got me. Anyone know where
Oh,
this is from? Hmm?
is I feel like I do.
Somebody knows. Somebody will say it. Where do you see the chat?
Oh, I open YouTube and I pop it out and I close YouTube just so I
Okay.
can see the chat.
So
Uh,
open YouTube. Look, I'm very old school, guys. You might think I know what's going on
you
with the
don't
channel.
don't play the video though, or you got to mute it right away, or else you'll get to some weird double delay thing. That's the
The other,
secret.
the other energy, other than the coffee, the whiskey helps a little bit too. Sometimes I wasn't even going to have one. You inspired me.
Happy to inspire.
So
It's a Wednesday night thing.
that's your answer. Who asked that question?
Macy's daddy. What's going on,
Somebody's
Phil?
daddy?
Yep, Macy's.
Yes. Okay, so open it and then mute it right away.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, look
beauty.
at that.
Okay, now in YouTube, like where the chat is, there's three little dots. Click that and pop it out, and then you have just the chat and not the YouTube. That's what I do. Otherwise, there's a weird delay
Oh,
and it
yeah.
messes with you.
Oh, look at that.
Boom. There you
Reef,
go, man.
look at that. Okay, cool. Whiskey Nano Reefs is a good night. Okay, got it. I'm in.
Whiskey nano. Hey, that could be fun. I actually started a podcast around that topic, and I actually had a really cool logo of like a glass and a reef, and I should revive that one day. Anyways,
It could be this podcast if you want. We could.
you never know. We could start one.
There's no. Bye, Tia. Wait, Tia,
Yeah.
say bye to the YouTubers. Bye. Look at
Bye.
this celebrity. Bye.
Wonderful evening. Okay. So Nano Reefs is a fun one. Lots of people, they like the tiny tanks, and especially a lot of people are in apartments and whatnot. So I find that plays into it quite a bit. Now, owning a shop, do you find you have more customers with big tanks or little tanks? With
Little
like
tanks.
little
By
tanks?
by far, they outcompete them 20-1. I would say.
Oh, really? Wow, that's a big change.
Yeah, that was sort of the inspiration behind selling more of our own nano Reeses. We sold so many Fluval Evos, the 13.5 gallon.
Yep.
And then we started thinking, this is a great little tank. It hasn't changed in 5 years. What would we do? How would we improve? What do we want to see in our own tanks?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how the idea started.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. So
Yeah,
that's Replace It. Now, okay, so your line is called Reef Castle, right?
that's right.
Now, what's the most popular one?
We're sold out of both models. So one is a 12-gallon and one is a 6-gallon. So a Nano and a Pico.
Oh, crazy.
And they're
Yeah.
on back order, and we have a container coming, but yeah, completely sold out. So it's a good problem to have, I guess.
That is a good problem to have. So they're pretty
Yeah.
6 gallon. That is super tiny.
Yeah, super tiny. Yeah. But I think just the size and the footprint and how small and intimate, and you can set up anywhere. The price point is really attractive.
Yep.
Like, how big is the tank that you have at home? It's a water box?
Yeah, it's too big. No, it's not too big, but it's like big, like compared to a Nano. I got a 6 foot water box, and then I got a custom tank beside me that you can't see because the screened out. But it's I don't know, 7'6", I think, 76 inches by 28 by 14.
Do you keep an Excel sheet of what you've spent on the tank over the year?
Nah, terrible idea. Terrible
You
idea.
had to just throw a number out at
Scare
what?
me.
Yeah,
Scare me.
scary. Yeah.
So I mean, hey, that's the appeal of a Nano, right? It's pretty dang cheap.
I think that's the most attractive part is Nano. You get in, and then once you're in, you're screwed. You're going to end up eventually with the 6 foot. Once you're in it, you're hooked. But it's
true.
It's that gateway.
Now, that being said, I have toyed with the idea of setting up a few smaller tanks instead of like the one big office tank. I'm always like back and forth on it, but part of me likes the appeal that you could do, different themes or different things in each tank.
Mm-hmm.
But, I started off small, and every single upgrade's been bigger and bigger and bigger because you're out of coral space. And so it's just like the weird back and forth thing. But I miss my Nano, so,
you're coming full circle. You've gone so big that now you start to appreciate less is more and smaller. And
I think there's a certain thing, like there's so many cool little creatures that you can get in Nanos that would be lost in a big tank, right? Like, like those little, like the sexy shrimp and like the little glass shrimp and the flaming prawn gobies. Like there's so many cool tiny creatures that
how
you
long
completely lose it.
in your 7-foot tank?
What's that?
How long would you appreciate something like that in your 7-foot tank?
And you'd never see it. You'd see it like once a year.
7 seconds. Yeah, it's in and.
So it does give you that certain intimate, right? And it is kind of cool to be able to see stuff up close.
Yeah,
Okay,
way more intimate.
Yeah. So you set 6-gallon, 12-gallon. Do most people do nano fish in those, or they stick to more inverts? Like, what kind of stuff do you find most people go for in those?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. Most of the sales are international, so they're going to the United States.
Yeah.
We do get some photos and videos back. I think clownfish are probably the most popular. People are looking for that symbiotic anemone clownfish relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I imagine people are keeping small things, gobies, maybe 6-line wrasses or dotty backs.
Yeah. So do you have any nano set up in the shop now? I'm assuming the Reef Casa.
1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Fourth one going in, and a new one I'm going to set up at home.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're always improving them too. Like, so the new ones that are coming, they have minor adjustments, even just by a few millimeters here or there, or let's change the pump, or how do we fix this? Because we're doing them in small batches, and I see it every day. It's literally, it's right here in front of me.
Yeah.
So we're constantly perfection, but with the tanks.
That's kind of a cool thing. So they're constantly iterating the process over time. So what have you done? Like, what have you improved? What are you like, okay, we can make this better?
It's small things like let's make the ATO compartment an inch bigger so it adds, a little bit more so that you don't have to come home and worry about filling it up right away. Because anything that I found that was sort of an oversight or maybe an annoyance or anything that could be improved really, and it's small adjustments, it's small tweaks, it's nothing big. And then I think half the fun is coming out with like gadgets and upgrades that go with it. So you're into the hardware, you know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
The glass the glass is the glass, that's it.
Yeah.
And then afterwards the fun part comes. It's Neptune, it's the AI, it's the power heads, it's the lights, it's all that stuff.
So okay, I have to ask this one. So on one of your nanos, what's the most like hardcore decked out with equipment that you've went on it?
That I've done or I've seen someone do?
Both. First of all, you like what's like the most hardcore that you've done for like decking out of?
I think the one that I'm about to set up at home, because I travel so much now for the channel,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be away, it's going to be a Neptune rig monstrosity from top to bottom with every sensor you can imagine. It's
Nice.
going to have redundancy on top of redundancy, like only a will of God will cause this to go wrong.
Love it.
And then I saw someone once that just from the get-go, he did all his research. He watched all the BRS videos. He went Apex right out of the gate as a newbie,
Mm-hmm.
Radeon XR15 with an MP10 with you dropped $3,000 on a Nano Reef like it was nothing. But
Yeah.
those builds and customers are you don't see them every day, but it's fun to do.
It is for sure. I mean, the cool thing is, like, if you do a bigger tank later, all your gear still works, right? Like, it's kind of universal in a sense, which is nice.
If you buy the good stuff.
It's true. Buy it once and be good. That's the lesson I learned in my early days. You know, you started like the super cheap stuff, and over the time, I've slowly gotten fancier and fancier and fancier, and now I just buy fancier stuff. But
so has any of the cheap stuff stood the test of time that you're still using? That
most of it's been replaced over the years because like the majority of it, I would say, like some of it obviously died, and the other chunk of it, I'm obsessed with having a super quiet tank. So a lot of the upgrades have been, you know, because I know the better stuff is quieter. You know, I remember back in the day when I bought like my M1 return pump, it was like $400 or something crazy. I'm like, I don't know if I can spend this. I like talked to the guy in the store. I'm like, let me take it home and try it. I said, if it's quieter than my Jabo, I'll keep it. And if not, I'm returning it. And it was like quiet. I'm like, damn it. So I had to buy it. I just couldn't help myself. So I've been down this rabbit hole of just like super silent tank for ages.
that's sort of like a trend in the last few years of quiet reefing technology, and it's something you didn't see, like at least when I started. Quiet and silent was not; those weren't words we used to describe reefing.
Oh, I've been obsessed with that for years. It's like always a quest to make my tank quieter.
Have you been to Tidal Gardens?
No, but I want to.
If you appreciate quiet, when you walk into that place,
He's
oh,
obsessed. I love it.
obsessed. And the place is quiet, and then you go into his office, and then it's all soundproof. It's crazy. Yeah.
Have you been there since he landed the big cloud roof and all the
It was
the
about
crazy wall?
80%. No, the cloud ceiling was done, and then the walls were like 70% done.
Yeah.
And they would hook up to like I think his voice, and he would say like if he spoke a certain way, the clouds would go a different color. It was pretty cool. It was trippy.
Ah, that's awesome. Okay, I definitely have to go down there. Okay, in the
worth
chat, Brandy, what is the biggest for it to be considered a nano still?
You know who makes that? Who decides that?
I don't know.
Us.
Yeah, it is us. 30 to 40 gallons and under, I would say. What would you say?
Yeah, that's about it. It's 30 to 40 ish around
Oh.
there, and then bigger than that, you just have a reef tank. I would say 30.
30 and under? All right, 30 and under.
You know the
And then-
bio 32.
So what's a Pico, like 6 and under?
6, yeah, but where's the cutoff? Where does Pico go to Nano? 7, 8?
I don't know.
Up to you. Yeah,
We can decide right now. We can set a standard.
I usually think that under 10 Pico,
Yeah.
10 to 30. Like for
All
me,
right,
a bio
so nine and under.
9 and under, yeah, and
10
then
still
above
a Nano.
30. Yeah, exactly. Dedicated reefer. What's that? Someone just gave you $5?
Thanks, dedicated reefer. Appreciate it, buddy.
Oh, you are dedicated.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Nice guy.
I know, right? Very loving. Okay, so 9 and under, Pico. We're going with it? Okay.
Yeah, that's the new definition. Whoever's watching, that is the new definition of Pico.
Yep. BioCube 29 didn't realize this now. It is now. Yeah, man. 30 gallons and under.
I would say you're still dealing with Nano. Your water volume is going to move fairly quickly. It's not a significant amount of water.
Macro,
If you keep
micro,
watering
Pico.
and it's not a pain in the ass, it's a Nano.
Okay. Now you're talking about accessories. Someone mentioned skimmers. What's your opinion on skimmers on nanos?
On Nanos, I feel like other than one, they're all kind of meh.
Meh.
What's another word for meh?
Reinvest your money in a bucket of salt.
Yeah.
So what's the one? What's the one that's good?
I
You
like
said other than.
the
The
tunsy. Tuns. You're supposed to say tuns.
Is that how you actually say it? I've been trying to figure this out for years.
The Germans at Interzoo, they taught me it's not tunzi, it's tuns.
Tons. Okay.
Tuns. The 9001.
9001. Yeah, I've actually used that one. I think I have one.
What do you think?
It was pretty decent.
Yeah, they
It's
do an
pretty
okay
good.
job.
Yep.
It's not going to compare to a proper cone shape skimmer. It's not going to pull out that much, but
I used to have an innovative marine one and their skimmer, and to me it was just too loud and didn't do much usefulness, so I just pulled it out and I quit using it.
their skimmers are absolute junk. The Ghost skimmer,
Yeah.
you know why it's called Ghost skimmer? Because you can't see what it's pulling out. It's go. It's actually I like a lot of their products. We used to
Yeah.
sell a ton of their tanks, and I have nothing against Innovative Marine except for that skimmer is a piece of shit.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I actually ended up putting it on at nighttime. I put on a timer, so it was on when I was in bed because it was too loud and annoying. And eventually I just pulled it out. I'm like, not even worth having it. John,
It looks cool. It's a sexy piece of equipment.
John Reefer Vermont, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Today's tuition. Always learn something new on the stream. Translates to spending more money. Hey, nanos are cheap. We're trying to help you out today.
Yes, John.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Red Campbell. March's beard is on point. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man, it's looking good. How do you not have it full of grace in there? You're just a young buck.
I'm far away from the camera.
This is why mine's so short.
Yeah, bring out the hair here and starting to show starting to show the salt and pepper.
Yeah, it's salty just like the reef tank.
Yes.
I love it. What about eShop Nano Skimmer? Haven't used it. Have you used it? All right.
It's okay.
I would agree. Actually, the Tons is probably one of the better ones that I've used.
Yeah.
In general, though, I honestly just say just do a 1 bucket water change, and you'll probably have more value than majority of the nano skimmers out there.
Yeah, I would use that compartment for something else. Load up on like biological media, maybe some marine pure stuff, or if you have the capacity to set up a little refugium, I think it'll go a long way.
Do you think a tiny refugium does much on a nano tank? I'm back and forth on this, so.
You want to set up 2 tanks side by side and have the back of one completely stuffed with Chaeto and a light, and then the other without, because how else are you supposed to answer that question?
It sounds like a FragBox Investigate series of testing it on 2 of your tanks.
I'm a big believer in refugiums, so I want them to work. So maybe I have some confirmation bias there.
Yeah.
But it's also such a small space. So how much effect can a ball of Chaeto this big really have? But you have the other benefits of like having critters grow and hopefully, pH stabilization. I just did a video on this actually.
Ah, well, perfect. I will have to watch it later. March, did you stop doing lives? He should come on more. You should come on more. I'll have to bribe you again in a month or 2.
It's not that hard. Just send me a bottle of whiskey. I'll come on.
Yeah, that's fair. I would recommend the bamboo.
How much you do? I wanna go to that reef stock. We were just talking about it before we came on, just for the to try some Tennessee whiskey.
That's the good stuff, eh?
Is anyone from Tennessee?
I'm not, but my camera says it's hot. I'm putting a fan on it.
Does this thing say how many people are watching?
66 at the moment.
Oh, nice. One of them's bound to be from Tennessee.
Hang on the back fuge works. If you have a big enough one, I agree. There is definitely some value to that.
Yeah, enough space, and then you get maybe a little bit of added water volume.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, with the... Sorry, I'm preventing my camera from overheating.
Is that how it works?
Well, I have a little fan that I glued to the back, but it fell off. And now it's showing my little temperature sensor, so I'm just preventative here. There you go. This is my ghetto fix for now.
You should get Patrick from Reef Wholesale at the same time. Patrick, outside of working hours, only mountain bike rides, so...
It's true. He is a tricky one to get on. I've had him on before. I've filmed videos with him. I think I've had him on once, but he is a tricky one to get on.
The whiskey won't entice him either because he doesn't drink.
Doesn't he?
No.
It's been a while. It's been a few years.
If we take him to Asia, he could be convinced, but...
Okay, so we'll work on it. I will get Pat and Trina on one day too. It would be a fun one, actually.
Are you running a Fuge at home?
I do.
Both tanks?
1 tank. This one has very low nutrients, so I haven't bothered. The one beside me, but my main tank, I do have a Fuge on it.
And what do you keep in there?
Just Chaeto.
Chaeto.
Yeah.
Good old red Chaeto.
What do you go for?
I switched to Dragon's Breath after a visit to Top Shelf in Florida.
It's definitely prettier, but do you find it pulls or does more?
You walked in after me, no? You guys.
Yeah, we were filming at the same time.
Yeah, or right. I came in and you came in and Patrick was there and
yeah.
So they don't run Chaeto, they run only dragon's
breath.
or tongue, one or the other, one of the red ones, because the Chaeto, he's saying, outcompetes for a vital nutrient with the acro.
Interesting.
And I don't know if it was iodine. Man, I got to go back. You know when you just
Gotta rewatch it.
Yeah, I got to rewatch it. I think it was iodine or something. There's something it outcompetes with, and they found that they were low on it, and they nailed it. They traced it back to the Chaeto.
Huh. Interesting.
If you have enough of it, but for some reason, the dragon's breath, it's in a different color spectrum. It sucks up different nutrients, and they found did the same effect, but without competition.
Huh. Interesting. I'm gonna have to get some of that again. Mine all disappeared.
Your dragon's breath?
Yeah. I know to come to now, at least.
Yeah. How did it disappear?
I don't know if something ate it or what happened. I don't know. I bought some at one point. I think it was actually from Top Shelf, ironically, like years ago.
Okay.
And then I don't know what happened to it. I feel like a fish might have ate it or something, but
it grows really well for us if you ever want some.
All right. I will take you up on it at some point. Can Dursa clams do well in 100 par? Clams like lots of par. They would survive, but more would probably make them happier. Sorry, go ahead.
It says mine seems to be growing a lot under low par. Maybe. You know, that's the thing with clams. They always say highlight high par, right?
Yeah.
Or at least, I don't know when I say they say. I mean, that's the idea I have in my head. That clams like lots of light.
They do.
I have mine under 100 par right now, and they look fantastic.
Happy as a clam?
Happy as a clam. I don't know if they're growing, but they're there.
That's fair. Hey, if they look good and they're happy, I mean, that's really good enough. You might not want to grow too big. So everyone's always like high pH. You want your tank to grow really big, but there's going to be a point when stuff grows too big in your tank. And you want it to slow down. So, I mean, as long as it looks good and it's happy in lower par, you might be content.
I guess unless you're in my situation where you're trying to grow with the intention to sell.
Yeah.
But I'm at a place right now with Zoas that I'm growing more than when we sell. Like, the growth is literally annoying.
Yeah, because it's too much.
It's too much. And then I make them, I frag them because they're going all over the fucking place. And then I'm sitting on all these frags. And then I want to sell them cheap, but I don't want to devalue them. So it's almost annoying.
Yeah, I definitely see that one. Be the fountain, Brandy, good point. Depends on the photo period. So there is DLI, which, speaking of Pat, I did a great video with him probably like 4 or 5 years ago. But it's basically your intensity over your duration. So you can have really low par for more hours and you get the same amount of light energy as you could with higher par for shorter hours. So that can play into it as well.
Okay, so then Red Devil, if you're still there, how long are you running your photo period? Do you ever do that? Do you ever ask questions and wait for them to respond?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Red Devil, I'm waiting for an answer.
Yeah, it'll come. But yeah, I think that's a very good question. Good one, Brandy. How do you even get a clam to attach your aquascape without it falling over?
That's a good question. Do you have an answer?
I just wedged in somewhere. Usually I put them in the sand bed and it's just easy. But if you want them in the rock, just like add another rock and make like a little cradle for it to sit in there nicely. And that's worked well.
What the fuck did this guy just write?
Yeah, I know. He likes baby ducks.
I like little baby ducks, old pickup trains, slow moving trains, and cocaine. Good for you, Charles. You know what? That's
Charles,
awesome.
Whatever makes you happy, buddy. Thank you for the super chat.
Good time with the ducks.
Yeah. Thanks for the super chat, man.
I'll take you $5.
Yeah. I'm happy you found your happy place. So random. Okay, so would you put clams in a nano tank?
We've done it. We've kept them in as little as 12 gallons. I don't know if I recommend it. I don't know if that's responsible reef keeping.
Was it any harder to do it, or was it same as normal?
No, the same. Same as keeping it in a big tank if the conditions are right.
So baby clams are more filter feeders, so they appreciate phyto and more stuff in the water to filter, and bigger ones are more photosynthetic. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, as long as your water is good, I don't see why it wouldn't work. Yeah,
I don't think the clam knows if it's in a big tank or a small tank. If it's stable and if it's getting fed and it's under 3 inches, great.
Yep, it's true. Okay, so clams, little tank, doable.
Your discretion. Sure.
Yep, do it at your own risk. But yeah, as long as the water's good.
I don't know. I think maybe the age of the tank might be a little bit more important than the size.
Probably true. I find, after a year, I find most things are fine on a tank. That first 3 to 6 months is always more questionable on a new system.
That's what I used to think, and then I saw
No,
Jake did a video cycling a tank with corals from day one.
for corals, yes. For fish, not as questionable. So, in my experience, I've had corals live. I'm back in my nano tank days. I bought a bunch of like colonies because I knew I was going to upgrade, and they wouldn't fit in my tank. They were just too big. So they literally lived in a 5 gallon bucket with an XR15 above it and a wave maker.
Mm.
And that was it for like a month. Completely happy. Like just a 5 gallon bucket was my tank.
And you
So
keep the salinity in check, and
yeah,
you don't really have like fish waste or ammonia or any of that to deal with. They just need that water and the movement, right?
no, exactly. So I mean, they can be pretty easy, and I mean, you're not really cycling for corals. You're cycling for the fish.
Yeah, I think if people kept just coral and without fish, it'd probably be a lot easier for a bunch of hobbyists.
Probably true.
Yeah.
It if I do a nano, I would probably only do just coral and inverse. I don't know if I put fish.
Well, if you need one, I know a guy that manufactures nano reef tanks. So you just let him know which size, and it'll be on the way in the mail.
I have the last like week or two, I've been very heavily debating doing just like a rock flower now. It's like a little shallow rock flower one, and just like load it up with like crazy amounts of rock flowers and just get them to spawn. Like I used to have a Red Sea 20 gallon back in the day, and, I put about 50 rock flowers in it, and it looked awesome. And I'm debating doing something again.
Do they spawn?
Yeah, I had them spawn multiple times. Not babies. It's fun. I kind
Yeah.
of want to do it again. Like I want a dedicated rock flower tank. Maybe just throw in like 20 sexy shrimp. It'd be cool.
How shallow are you talking?
I don't know. Not like super deep. It'd be rock flower mainly, right? So it's mainly top down view.
Like
Oh, here comes the temptation.
like 6 gallons of shallow?
It's not bad. What are the dimensions of that baby?
15, 6?
It's not bad. Do you have any like 2 foot-ish?
I do.
Shallow?
I have
Oh man,
I have
temptation.
a 22 inch, same height, 7 inch. So it's like
Ooh,
a 2 foot shallow lagoon.
that might be
Intended to
cool.
be really enjoyed from the top down.
That's what a rock flower tank would thrive in.
I think any tank, when you look at the tank from the top down, that's when you really appreciate how nice some of these corals are.
But if you just do rock flowers, I mean, the top down's where it's at, right? Like they
Yeah.
look so good.
Yeah. Even clams, if you go back talking
know.
about clams, clam from the top is a completely different animal than clam from the side.
True. Very, very true. They look 100 times better top down.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I was to do a shallow top down style rock flower tank,
You're fucked. You're talking about it in hypotheticals. This is like,
dude, I have been already messaging
When?
people. I have already been messaging people trying to like find like a good deal on like bulk rock flowers. I'm like, how cheap are they if I buy 100?
I've just found a new supplier in Florida.
Yeah.
They are the least expensive, most colorful, largest, healthiest, biggest variety rock flowers I've ever got.
Really? Okay, we're gonna have
Yeah.
to chat later.
Yeah, we got in 100 just to do it, like 100 rock flowers and 500 Recordia.
Yeah.
And he sent me just absolute fire.
I wonder if it's the same guy I've been messaging. We'll chat later. Because I'm like, hey, what if I buy 100? How much? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
just packed full of Nano. I'm like, it looked freaking amazing.
Somebody came to say hi. Hi. Look
What's
who's
going on,
here.
buddy? What's his
What's-
name?
Diggs.
Diggs? What's up, Diggs? What's up, buddy?
He heard rock flowers. You like rock flowers?
He
You
does.
like rock flowers.
He does.
Yeah.
Aaron,
What's
let's do.
this obsession with rock flowers?
I don't know. I used to have a nano tank and I full of them and they looked awesome and I just kind of missed it. And I was like, if I did a nano tank again, what would I do? And my mind just keeps going back to rock flowers.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that it might happen. It's just easy. Like you don't really, it's like super easy. You don't have to worry too much about dosing. They're super hardy. They're beautiful. It's just like perfect for a nano.
Were you feeding them to get them to reproduce?
Yeah. So I feel I did feed them. Usually I would feed like mysis or Reef Nutrition, the little like oyster eggs or the other stuff. I dumped some of that stuff a couple times a week. And I also feel that it was semi-related to A, the moon cycles, and B, like a change in temperature. Like if I did a water change, so it had like a bit of a cooler water mixed in line with like moon cycles, I feel like that kind of caused them to spawn. Because I had them spawn multiple times for me, so.
So that's pretty cool. Maybe you gotta set it up and then get an app, track the moon, and then water change right when it's full.
You know, like I think so, or that day. There's something to this because I've had them spawn at least 3 or 4 times that I've physically seen them spawn.
And they come male and female. The
Yeah, they're
rock
male and female.
Yeah.
So the male will release the spawn in the water, and your tank's all cloudy. And you know, if the female gets it, then you know about a month or two later, there'll be little teeny babies, like little pinhead specks of color in your tank, and it's super cool.
I had a customer who spawned them and would trade them back, but he said he could tell which ones were male and female.
Nah,
I don't think that's possible.
you can only tell if you see them spawn. So
Uh,
because the babies will go under the female. Like if you see the one spawning, you know, releasing his little love juice in the water, you know it's a male. And the females, because the babies will go under the skirt of it, and that's kind of the only way that I've found. There's been no way to sex them, so you just add a bunch and then hope for
I
the
wonder if
best.
that's what he was referring to, because he said he could tell. Maybe he saw them spawn and said, "Okay, this one's a male, female." He could separate them based on spawning.
I think so.
Could be.
Yeah, could be. But I think that's what I do, and then probably just do a bunch of like cool, sexy shrimp and others like little things. Just
Sounds
a
like
bunch
a
of
plan.
them. I don't know.
There's
It's
a lot of
tempted.
cool. We've been getting some really cool shrimp from Patrick that I've never seen, like
Ooh, do tell.
different types of anemone shrimp, and I've just never. I don't know where they've been my whole life, but we just started getting some cool ones. But they're very small. They're almost see through. They're
Like
like no bigger than an inch.
yeah.
Yeah.
And some of them have like cool little dots on them, and they're funky. I haven't had those. Like I miss that random stuff. You
And
can't do it in a big tank.
they behave differently than most shrimp. I don't know why. They sort of like they dance and they fidget and they just act very different than like a cleaner shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Okay, so if you were to do a rock fauna nano, would you put any fish in or just stick straight up inverts?
I think I would do one very unusual showcase fish. I wouldn't do your typical clowns. I wouldn't do a wrasse. I would try and find something really way out left field.
Like what? What do you got? Actually, okay, no, hey, this is a good rabbit hole. What are really cool fish for a nano?
I
Lot,
really want to keep, but I have no luck with pipefish.
those are cool.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe they're not nano appropriate, but I've never ever had luck keeping any sort of pipefish long term.
I've had some for a few months and disappeared, and then when I upgraded the tank, I found him crispy behind the tank, so he jumped, and it was just like the little blue stripe. So I didn't even know they could jump, but they can. So that was a lesson learned for me. But
It's really good jump.
yep. Do reef casts come with lids?
They are optional. We sell them on the side, and each model you can buy a custom made mesh cover to go over top and protect your fish from happening to what happened to Devin here.
Yep. Wise. I used to be against lids, but now I appreciate lids because
They're
it's
so
not worth
ugly.
losing a creature. They are. But
I don't think it would help with a pipefish because of the holes.
well, you need really tiny ones.
You need super tiny. I think he could still find a way through.
The thinnest mesh that I found was from a fabric store. I think it was like tulle or something like that. It was super fine little strands and super teeny holes for like dresses or the floofy stuff on skirts. And that worked really well for DIY lids back in the day. But you might need something like that.
Ours will stop all fish except pipefish.
No guarantee on pipefish?
No guarantee on pipefish. No.
That's fair. Pipefish would be cool though, actually. That'd be a cool one in a nano. I like it.
I wonder if you could keep like a garden eel. You put like some more sand and just have some garden eels shoot up like in between.
It's
the
like
rock
8 inches of sand.
Yeah,
Be
yeah,
cool.
something different. I've never kept those either.
I wouldn't either. That would be a cool one though.
Have you seen the stream? There's an aquarium in Japan, like a Ripley sort of aquarium, and they have a
Yeah.
camera on the garden eels all the time.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to look that up.
You can tune in at any time and just watch the garden eels do their
Dude,
thing.
I love those things. Whenever I see them, they make me smile. Like I saw them out in the wild one day, and I was so excited. You get too close, they go bloop, and they go under. And if you just like hover around while you're diving for a bit, and they'll come back out. And
I like
I don't-
anything that goes like that sound. Bloop.
bloop. Yeah.
Christmas tree, worm rocks, like feather duster, anything that goes.
Mhm.
Bloop.
You just wait, and they'll slowly be like, they're all like nervous. Is it safe? They slowly come back out again, and you move, and they go whoop again. You're like, hey.
You know what I've been looking for a long time and I can't find is a Catalina goby.
Oh, actually, I haven't seen those in ages. They're the
Oh.
colder water ones.
Yeah, they're really cool. Something rare like that I think would be nice.
That'd be a cool one. Catalinas are super bright. They're colorful.
Hmm.
Just pulled one up, so if anyone doesn't know what they look like, these are super colorful little guys, but they generally have
Ah,
Yeah, but they're cool water, so a lot of people need chillers. I mean, or if you don't have a heater on the tank, you might be okay with it.
I picked one up for $20 at a store because they didn't know what it was.
Oh, good find.
I didn't even know what it was until I got home. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you what's okay? So what else are common things that you sell in your store for people with nanos? Like what other good recommendations for nano tank?
Good recommendations for a nano tank. We sell a lot of media that goes like biological media.
Yep.
So we sell a lot of the marine pure gems. Now we have our own version of that that's made just for our tanks.
Nice.
We sell a lot of nano tanks specifically. Oh, the magnet, the little scrapers from Flipper.
Yeah, the tiny ones.
Yeah, we sell a ton of those.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
like a bread and butter item. We have it in stock all the time. We sell a lot of these too, even though you don't have to use it on a nano tank.
Nero 3?
You ever use one?
Yeah. I had the Nero 5 on my nano. I actually have a 3 now in my sump, but I would totally move it over to a nano if I got one later. Those are great pumps.
I'm using a Nero 3 in a sump.
You should try this. I've had this idea for a while. Are the back planes acrylic or glass on yours?
Acrylic.
So, this is a cool idea that I've had, and it might be awesome. It might be brilliant. You should try it. On the back of one of the tanks, drill a hole where the return pump would be and put the Nero 3 there. So it acts kind of your overflow of the Nero. So it works as kind of your return pump and your wave maker in one. You should try it.
Yeah, I just understood. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's going to pull water through and then send it.
Yeah, so put it in the return pump chamber and let it just drill that hole. So it's your wave maker and your return pump all in one, and it's hidden. I don't know if it caused noise or not with the overflow, but it'd be a sweet way for a hidden wave maker. I think it's a brilliant idea, but I know.
Ah, when I send you your shallow tank, you're more than welcome to drill a hole. But you like silence. If it makes noise, you're gonna.
Well, this is why you should try it, and if it works, then I'll do it. But I think it'd be really cool, right? Like the Nero 3 is quiet. I just don't know if the pump's ramping up and down, if that would change the overflow much. I don't know if it'd be an issue. It might not be an issue, but I think it'd be a really cool way to have like super secret.
ATO.
Huh?
If you're not using an ATO, I don't think it'll be an issue.
Probably not. And if you are using an ATO, just get one that, I don't know, it'll be fine. It'll kick on more often. Or you use like one you can program, like the Neptune with sensors, and then you can just be like, okay, if you're dry more than 30 seconds, then turn on. Like you can program stuff like that, right?
I like things like that where you don't have to see wires or pumps in the tank.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so against any clutter or any unnecessary wire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's why I think it's a brilliant idea. So
that's why I like having the tanks around the shop, because sometimes one of the staff members here will be like, "Oh, I got it." You know, I'll tell them like all week, like just think about the solution to this. I'll give them the problem, and then it'll come to someone throughout the day.
Yeah, you're like in the shower. You're like, I got it.
Yeah. Where do those ideas even come from?
They just percolate in the back of your mind, and all of a sudden your mind's like, I cracked the code. This is going to make this extra awesome. And then you're set.
It's subconscious.
I know. Okay, so rock flower tank. We got sexy shrimp. Like they're like an easy one because they're like perfect with them. What else is like really cool? Like what other crazy, cool, unique tiny creatures have you kept? Is it flaming prong gobies was cool, but I bought one before. It was freaking expensive, and I literally saw it like once a month.
Is that like a flame scallop?
Yeah, flaming prong gobies are not a scallop. They're freaking cool, but they're very reclusive. I literally saw it. I got excited because I'd see it like once every 2 weeks.
Have you ever kept a flame scallop?
Yeah.
Yeah, long term?
No, I had one for a few months and then it faded on me. So these guys, flaming prong gobies, they're super cool. Like, but they're very elusive and they're overly priced. Like they're not cheap. But
I just saw one not too long ago, but under a different. Click on image 3. I wonder if that's my photo. Is that FragBox? No.
Don't know what it is. Nano Reef. But like they're super cool, but they're very elusive. Like I rarely ever saw it for how expensive it was.
We just sold one, but I feel like it was under a different name.
Yeah, they're that big though. They're so tiny. They're like an inch.
Yeah.
But they're cool.
When we ordered it, our wholesale cost was like $150.
Yeah,
exactly. I didn't realize it was like this. It was like
you're like $100 an inch or more.
Where do you get livestock out? Where you're in Vancouver? No,
Kelowna. That one I bought from J&L back in the day. This was like 5-6 years ago.
Do you
But
normally order fish online?
usually locally. One of
Oh,
my
okay.
buddies owns a fish store here, so I usually bribe him for stuff that I
Hey,
need. I'm like, hey,
that
order me
helps.
this next year next door. It does. It really does.
What's the store?
Purple Seahorse.
Never heard of it. Is
Yeah.
that any association with Aquaforest?
No. Although they
Oh,
might sell Aquaforest. I will look next time I'm in there.
Purple Seahorse Pet Store?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
That
never heard of it.
they're very close to me.
They do everything.
That's why I normally bribe him. And I'm buddies with the owner, so that helps.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Yes, it does. Great show. Thank you. Appreciated. Stressful reefer. Reefing should not be stressful. Throwing that out there. Relaxing.
It should not be stressful. And
Right.
sometimes we have some customers that get very overwhelmed and very stressed. And I think that they forget that this is a hobby. It's meant to be enjoyed. This is supposed to take away from the stress of your day and your work and your day-to-day life, not add another layer of on top of it.
Right? Exactly. Right? We do this for fun. It always made me laugh. Like people do all this drama stuff. I'm like, nah. I do this for fun. I do because I enjoy it.
Yeah, none of that. I think people forget as well that this is optional.
Yep. It is. It's fun.
It is. It is fun. It's very relaxing.
Yep.
But
Sidetrack of the day.
real. When your acros are peeling and you don't know why, and your water tests show like nothing is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
then it can be one of the most hair-pulling, living nightmare.
true.
It's fucking awful. But when it's good, it's good.
Do you find that your mood is related to like your tank? Like your tank's doing shitty, you're in a bad mood. It's looking phenomenal. Like, yeah, life is good. Right? There's a correlation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe the corals are really a reflection of your attitude. Maybe they pick up on your shittiness, and that's why sometimes they don't make it.
Maybe. There's a correlation regardless, one way or another. There's a
Yeah,
correlation.
I don't know which way it goes, but it's there.
Yeah, it's related somehow. Now, here's another thing people do a lot. One coral in their tank is like STNing, and they like mess with the whole tank because of one coral. And I mean, it could have been something's up with that one coral, right? And you'll mess with the rest of your tank because you're doing some knee-jerk reaction. Like I've had stuff that have been STNing. I've done nothing, and it just stops and grows, and it's happy again. So RTNing, I would frag like a 1/4 inch above the depth and like reglue it somewhere. But STNing, I usually don't bother, and stuff usually recovers as long as there's nothing like drastically wrong with your tank.
Are you
So
speaking out of like current experience? Is something going on right now?
no,
Or
not
just-
right now. Actually, recently, yeah, I've had a couple corals like STNing, and like, and it's like, but it's in this branch at the bottom that I can't even get to. I'm just like, yeah, let's leave it. And then
Yeah.
I check on it later, and it's like, oh, it stopped. Everything's still growing again. Perfect.
They
But-
want to live.
They do. It's true.
Yeah, with the exception of like the home wrecker Acropora.
That one wants to die.
That one's from hell.
Really?
That and
I haven't
Ice
kept it.
Fire Enchilada.
Yeah.
Leave them in the ocean. Some pieces just belong where they belong.
Like Walt Disney has been the slowest grower in the world, but it seems super hardy. Orange Passion, same thing. It seems hardy but slow. The other one I haven't tried. I haven't tried the home wrecker, but it's
Yeah,
similar to those. So
Passion is incredibly, incredibly hardy.
yeah, it's super hardy, but it's freaking slow. Like it's such a slow grower, but
I have it in a tank right now with the phosphates are undetectable on the henna,
yeah.
and the nitrates are close to 100, and the color has never looked better.
Really?
Yeah,
So-
polyps are on, it's growing, and it's behaving like it's a softie.
So next to no phosphates, but a ton of nitrate.
No, I'm sorry. I said undetectable. I meant they're off the charts. Like
Okay.
they're so high it can't read it.
Nutrients are food for corals, right? So to an extent.
To an extent.
To an extent. That's really high then for phosphates.
Yeah,
But it's
looks
happy.
good. I've been trying to increase them.
Now, in general, higher nutrients, you generally want higher light and higher flow. Do you have high flow and high light in that tank or no?
In that specific spot. I do. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a long tank, so I can kind of play around with the light and flow. So on one side it's super high and super strong, and then it tapers off towards softies towards the other end.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it. That was my peninsula strategy, but that's just because I didn't want pumps anywhere else other than the overflow end.
Yeah, you can't put them on the other end. They just look awful.
Exactly, right? So I mean, that's, a big consideration too, and what corals you place where, basing where the flow is. And if anyone has a peninsula, that could be a whole nother stream of planning a peninsula. But
It's probably one of the, not really the trickiest, but I think more thought definitely has to go into placement and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
nope, definitely does. Okay, I know you have a cutoff, so we won't go too long. But back to the nano side.
Hmm.
What are your top recommendations for people coming in? They want to start a nano. What are you going to guide them on? What are you going to recommend to them?
What am I going to recommend? We're
Yeah.
talking about a new hobbyist.
Yeah, somebody. Okay, let's do a new one and an intermediate one. They're apartment reefer. They want a nano tank.
I think really
What's the FragBox advice?
get into the regiment, like get into the habit of water changing.
Mm-hmm.
Just have I know you've probably heard it from other people before, but just get into that schedule of this is when I'm going to do it this often for how much, and don't skip it, because stability on the smaller tanks is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll really just help to get it dialed in. And then take things slow. It's a small tank. Nothing good comes fast. Whatever you're going to add, just do it. Do it slowly. If you decide I want to start adding aminos, or I'm going to start dosing, or whatever you're going to do, just tiptoe around this thing, because in some ways it's so much easier than a large tank in terms of maintenance and chores and costs, and then in other ways it's a lot more challenging.
Yeah, well, that's fair. When I did have a nano, aka 20-gallon tank back in the day, I did a 1 bucket water change, so like somewhere 4 to 5 gallons every like 1 to 2 weeks, and it was the easiest tank I've ever had in my life.
Mm.
So
From 20 gallons, and now how often are you water changing on these two big boys?
not very often, rarely ever.
Yeah, when they're dialed in, you don't really need as much, I guess.
No, well, not that. It's just because I had a kid and I have no life anymore, free time. But before then, I was better at it.
That'll do it. Kids will do it.
Yeah, they do that. I did set up an auto water change, and I did redo a bunch of my mixing station. So really, I just got to buy more salt and get it going again.
Nice.
But on a nano, a single 1 bucket water change is like 25-50% of your tank volume. You do that every week or two. It's like it makes the tank so easy. Like that's one of the biggest things. Yeah, exactly, right? If you have toxins, something nasty in your tank, it's, just cut in half. If you're lacking trace or certain nutrients or whatever, you just replace half of it. So it's just such an easy fix when you have an nano. And water changes are cheap if you're doing a 5-gallon water change, right? You're not doing a 50-gallon water change, 5 gallons.
Yeah.
So it goes a long way.
It's a lot less space. It's a lot easier to set up. And it wasn't doable, or at least it was like very faux pas, I would say. Even 15 years ago when I started, like I'd walk into a reef store and they'd ask me how big my tank was. I would lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't say I have a 15 or 20 gallon. That wasn't a normal thing. That's the size of a water change. That's not the size of your tank.
Yeah, it's true. But why do you think that is? Like, what are we doing differently now than before?
I don't know. Maybe.
Right?
To be honest, I don't know.
I know.
In a lot of ways, it was more simple back then.
We overcomplicate it now, for sure.
But it's definitely overcomplicated. Like some of the nicest systems that I've seen, or the ones in the city, are really the most basic. Yeah.
Keep it simple. Yeah. If I do a nano, I'll probably put a control on it. But I'm going to attempt to keep it reasonably simple.
I don't know why you keep saying if. You've been thinking of a 2-foot by 2-foot shallow cube, and then I just happen to come on and make it and tell you I'm going to send you one. It's like, sometimes the universe just aligns, man. Let it be.
And I was talking to a guy last night. I'm like, how much for 100 rock flowers?
I have the guy. I have the connect.
Okay, we're going to chat later. I need to know if it's the same guy or if your deals are better than my deals.
His name is Anthony.
Anthony? Oh, I know which Anthony. I think I know which Anthony you're talking about. We'll chat after, though. We need to compare notes here.
Rock flower pricing notes.
Yep, exactly.
I get so many emails, people asking for suppliers.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. We just don't share them, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's understandable.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
No, if we're doing it. Oh, apparently Aaron says me and him are doing matching tanks or something at the same time. All right, well, apparently I might be acquiring a Reef Casa tank for rock flowers in the near future. So you're going to have to get a matching tank, Aaron, just saying.
How's March's GoFundMe going? It's going well.
What are we funding? What's happening?
I had my car stolen, my
Oh, that sucks.
1988 Honda CR-V,
Ooh,
and then so somebody on the channel gave me an idea. He said, "Why don't you start a GoFundMe? I love the channel. I want to support you guys." And then we hit $700 yesterday. So thank you
nice.
guys. You're gonna buy me a new car.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
So,
and
are you carless right now?
I live across the street, and I
Oh,
have
that's
a
convenient.
really nice new Schwinn bicycle. So
Nice. So you just
yeah,
ride.
I've been losing weight right now, and I said that if we reach the GoFundMe goal, I'm going to give away a Radeon, brand new Radeon. So
Ooh, very nice.
yeah, making it kind
Which
of like fun.
that's fun. Now, are you gonna do the what are you giving away? The pro or the blue? What's your preference, first of all?
Whatever the customer wants, but I would always recommend the blue over the pro.
Really, eh? See, I tend to
Yeah.
go with the pros.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I set one up and then I took it down.
Why? What's your reasoning?
Um, the dog's hitting the camera. Uh-oh.
Fair enough. Dun dun dun. Well, a nice smile when you froze. Okay, you're back.
Uh, I was running the blue somewhere else,
Hmm.
and I wanted the pop, and I think unless you're doing like a lot of acro, I think the blue is good for 9 out of 10 hobbyists.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I have my pros, and I like the whiter spectrum, and I also like the blue spectrum, so I kind of have it like do both throughout the day. I use the whites more for the acros, but more like my cooking higher power period. That
Mhm.
nice crispy white, and then I have it fade to more blues in the evening. So
I
always
like
curious.
I like the white. I came from halides. I like that crisp white look.
That's why I like the pros. You can do both. This is why I'm curious. I had to know.
And it's just in a retail setting. I think customers aren't used to the white,
Yeah.
and you need to showcase a little bit more. It's going to be more relatable what
Well,
they're
if you're
seeing.
that's fair. I mean, if you're selling corals, I mean, everyone likes the black light party color pop. So
Yeah, I think we probably run ours the whitest out of any store that I've seen, just because of my personal preference. Like they are
yeah.
blue, don't get me wrong, but they're
Hmm.
way closer to the white spectrum.
Yeah. Okay. I'll send you my schedule and you should try it one day just for fun because it's like it starts very blue, then it goes very like crispy white, but you still get color pop and for about 4 hours and fades more to blues.
That's how you
What?
really appreciate the fish, though, too.
Yeah,
Like the white is how they look under the sun. It looks a lot more natural.
yeah, best both worlds. But
Yep.
yeah, uh, that's why I have two of each team white. Oh yeah, Aaron, you have both. You alternate on yours. It's an
Oh, that's
interesting
kind of
way to do it.
two white. I mean, two pro, two blue.
Yeah, I think that's what he does. He just alternates.
Never heard of that. That's a pretty cool setup.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it.
I thought
All
it
right,
was very strange when they released it. I'm like, what is this? Before you had the regular and the pro, and now
it's
you
the
got a
same
big,
thing. They just call one blue and one pro now, right? You just
yeah,
have more LEDs to play with and a little less blue and a few other colors.
yeah. I think it adds just a little bit of confusion for people looking to jump into the Radeon game for the
Yeah.
first time.
Okay, Red Devil, interesting one. AI blades, in my opinion, are better than Radions or Hydras. No fans, more spread. I do appreciate no fans, so silence is nice. What do you think of the blades?
I just took off the Neptune Sky to run two of them, and
Yep.
I'm not because there's anything wrong with the Neptune Sky. It was the only spot in the store,
Yeah.
and I'm very impressed.
Nice.
Very, very impressed. I like the look. I like how sleek they are. Like he said, no fans, so not
Yep.
that noise is really an issue in here. The spread's great. The color rendition. I like AI
Hmm.
products in general. Yeah, all
Yep.
around thumbs up.
Nice.
Yep.
Did you go with the what is it? Grow or glow or both?
I did one of each. One grow, one glow. Yeah.
Solid. When I originally got them, I put one of each side by side on my 6 foot tank. I was impressed with how much par and spread I got out of those two.
So strong.
Yeah, like I was pleasantly surprised what I got out of a single strip, and
Yeah.
then the double strip. But
I don't know why. I just had it in my head that they released like a supplement light. I didn't realize it was a whole new light.
yeah,
Maybe because the shape, because it resembles sort of a reef bite, like it's a bar. Like how much light could you possibly get out of this little skinny strip of metal? But it's there. It's crazy.
I know, right? Will you be selling that Neptune Sky?
It sold the same day we took it off the tank for 30% less than the retail price. Sorry.
Too late, stressful reefer.
Won't get too stressed. It's already sold.
Yeah.
But if you want a Neptune Sky, you can always email us, and we're more than happy to give you a ReefDudes very generous discount for tuning into this podcast. You get a very nice discount on one.
And what's the email address if they want to hit you up.
FragBoxCorals@gmail.com. There you go.
Beautiful. Love it. Much appreciated, man. I know you had a dinner thing tonight, so won't keep you too long, but it was a good, very random chat, loosely based around nanotanks.
Yeah, whatever. Generally around rant. Whatever.
Yeah,
Generally around randos, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on. We'll have to do one again in like a month or so. But yeah, if you're up for it, let me know.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Yep. A quick shout out, Dedicated Reefer, Johnny for Vermont, Charles. Thank you guys for the super chat. Definitely appreciate it. You guys are new. Make sure you subscribe. If you're in Canada and want to check out some awesome corals, you got fragbox.ca. And apparently, if you want a nice nano tank, I heard rumors that they also ship to the US, since you said you send more there than Canada.
Yeah. 9 out of 10 orders are going to the US.
That's crazy.
Yeah. If you
I
go
guess,
on
well, that's because our money's like nothing. And they're like, US, like, oh, it's so cheap.
You guys win.
I know. Bonus. Devin, can you share your Radeon schedule? Google ReefDudes schedule. There's a link in the video description if you find it. If not, bug me, I'll send it to you, but I know I've posted a couple times, so it should be easy to find. Kind of get discount on the blades. I don't know. Bug mark, see what you can get.
Anything in the store, email me, and I'm going to send you... Here, I got a better idea. You can use this coupon code...
Oh, even better.
On the site, and that'll give you 10% off anything on there for the next 48 hours. How about that?
Beautiful. Dude, you're amazing. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hit that like button.